Well, hey there, welcome to day 38 of our 40-day Get Up and Go challenge. Guess what? We're going to go a couple days longer. I'm playing with this wine shirt bag just because I think it's hilarious. It was sitting here. I don't remember what I used it for. I must have used it for a video. But today, day 38, we are going to run through our SOAP model, our SOAP framework, our SOAP acronym one more time because I wanted to make sure that we got through all 7 areas. I wanted to give you at least one example of running through the SOAP framework through each of the 7 areas that are important in our life. We have to consider all these areas, not always all the time, but we have to be at least in the back of our mind at a subconscious level, and that's what we're trying to do during this 40-day challenge, is put in place at least one thing. I'm doing it anyway, at least one thing in each of the 7 areas: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships, and contribution. Each of the 7 areas of my life, to make sure that on autopilot, I'm always moving forward and making progress and moving toward what I want in each of these areas, at least on a subconscious level. So as I'm making decisions and I'm experiencing things as I go throughout my daily activities, I'm making those decisions and those choices with my long-term best interest in mind, not necessarily just reacting to things that happen, but experiencing things, challenges, obstacles, roadblocks, stuff that starts with an S comes up in our lives all the time. And I want to make sure that on a foundational level that I'm making the best choices for me at that time. And we always do that, right? As human beings, we always do the best we can with what we've got right now at this very minute. We make the best choices and the best decisions instantly in the given situation that we're in. Now, it's only after the fact, after we've made that choice, made that decision, and have started to see the results and the consequences of that, that we go back and we judge that decision, that choice, and we say, that was the moment that I screwed up, or that was the moment that I made the choice that changed my life. And it's always, hindsight's always 20/20, right? At least it has been in my life. I look back and I think, all right, well, if I would have made this choice at that time instead of this, and then there's so many possibilities of choices that we didn't even know we could have made back in the past. It's a futile activity to think and go back and reiterate and live anything that's happened in the past. Right now, it's very instant. Only time you can act or do anything. So let's live in the moment. So, last area I mentioned yesterday that I am doing this time through the SOAP framework is contribution, the area of contribution. What the heck is contribution? Guess what? Like anything else, you get to define what contribution is for you. And the S in SOAP, of course, stands for our situation or our story. Where are we right now? What's going on with respect to contribution in my life right now? And what do I want it to be? What am I contributing to the world around me? And contribution can be, how am I raising my family? How am I showing up in the world? It's really, how am I showing up in the world? And one of my biggest personal litmus tests and measures is, how much of myself am I really being? How true to myself am I being? How authentic am I being? Am I showing up as who I really am? Or am I continuing to wear masks? Because many of us wear masks. My granddaughter was playing with this the other day too. It's hers. I got it for her. How many masks or veils or whatever analogy you're using are you wearing? How much are you hiding yourself and not being consistent with who you really are? Because we all do that. I mean, even me, where I think I've ripped off most of my masks, I will still respond to things in certain ways on occasion that I know are just, or I will just let things go that aren't worth the battle, that I'm like, nope, I'm just going to step back. And it isn't really my nature, in most circumstances, to just go quietly into the sunset, right? It's not my nature at all. But sometimes we have to remember to choose our battles, and it's just not worth saying anything or doing anything or arguing with people that have already made up their mind, right? It seems like every few years we have a very tumultuous environment in at least here in the United States. Whenever there's a presidential election year, people go, I'm going to say it right now, batshit crazy. They stop thinking for themselves and they just go off half-cocked, and instead of listening to one another, they just spew their opinions and get louder and louder and louder and louder until it becomes a screaming match. And it might be a screaming match literally in person, or it's usually a screaming match through some other media. Don't get me wrong, lots of times when people are commenting on one another's posts on social media, they were literally screaming at one another. They're getting all worked up and they're having all of the emotions and drama as if they were actually having a physical altercation, an argument and disagreement. But there's this filter of protection in people's minds that they can say and do anything they want on social media. Guess what? That's wrong. Because every time we do that, and I'm guilty of it as well. Sometimes I'll comment on stuff and I'm like, oh wow, why did I even go there? Why did I say anything? Why didn't I just scroll by? And it just seems like it happens to me every 4 years where people, the whole world kind of sucks us into the negativity. And I actually push against it very hardly and filter myself and say, nope, it's like doing my content. I do content every day. And people are like, why do you create content every day? I do it more for me, or as much for me as for the people that I serve. It's one of the ways that I contribute. I contribute by sharing messages and sharing information out into the world, free of charge. And a lot of it is colored with my opinion and my experiences. And if it's of value to people, they listen. If it's not, hey, scroll by. You don't need to comment that I look like the Wicked Witch of the West and that you hope a house falls on me. I actually had that comment. It's still my favorite hater so far. But I'm working on another one. Every once in a while I get haters, but that was my favorite hater so far. And here's the funny part about haters and people that don't agree with you and don't like you and don't like your opinion. Sometimes they end up being your biggest fans, right? Because they actually, in order for this person to have given me that feedback through a direct message, by the way, this wasn't a public online thing. It was and I had just sent him a private message because he was one of my friends. I had sent him a private message and said, hey, I'm not sure why you're beating up this lady because it was on a group that we were both in. I'm not sure why you're beating her up, but it's inappropriate. And I don't even think I said it was inappropriate. I just said something about, I'm not sure why you're beating this lady up. And the person took offense. But here's the thing. They had to go to look me up. They had to watch some of my videos in order to give me that feedback. Even our haters end up watching our stuff. I think that there's several really famous people that their audience is actually made up of more people that hate them and hate what they stand for. Howard Stern comes to mind. He's one. Than actually love him and listen to him because they love him. They listen to him because they want to get a reaction in themselves. Sometimes that's the way we feel. We feel and live vicariously through other sources. So today, the S and soap situation story. What's my story about contribution? What do I want it to be? I'm sorry, I just got a message popped in and blocked my whole screen. All right, so think about making videos live. You get all kinds of interruptions. So what is my story? Where am I with respect to contribution? And remember, you do the same thing. You ask yourself, where am I right now? What's my story? What's my situation? What beliefs and feelings and thoughts and things am I having about my level of physical health, financial health, spiritual health, emotional health, my relationships, my contribution. Contribution I'm doing this time, so I'll give my examples about contribution. What am I doing now, and what do I want to be doing? Now, if I look at contribution on here, I gave myself a 7 when I did this. Remember, I did this a couple of months ago when I first went through the Get Up and Go challenge for the month of April, my 30-day Get Up and Go challenge. And one of the ways that I contribute and am contributing right now is through challenges, my free Get Up and Go challenges. And I think I mentioned yesterday, I have a personal values mismatch with the way a lot of people do challenges. A lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon and they're using them as their launch strategy, and they add scarcity and lack and all these things to it to get people to buy. Go ahead, more power to you. If that's the kind of customers you want, go ahead and do that. And it's because, and here's the problem I have with that, and I might have mentioned it yesterday. It assumes that human beings are too stupid or too lazy to decide when something is right for them. When you add scarcity and lack and you take away your content, you put it up there for free for a limited time, and then you take it away, and then a month later you do the same thing using the same content, and then you take it away. Is that doing something contributing to society, or is that really doing something mostly to contribute to you? To me, that's what the leaders are saying. I have to put my content up, but it's so good, I have to take it down so nobody else gets it. To me, that comes from a position of scarcity and lack, and that's just my opinion. And again, I get my opinion, you get yours. So that's why I don't do it. I don't do it because I think it's ridiculous. I think it contributes to the scarcity and the lack and the false sense of negativity in the world, and that's why I put my challenges up, and they stay up forever. The 30-day challenge in April for Get Up and Go, it's in the same group. If you want to go back and do the 30-day challenge, it's not specific. I probably talked about, I don't remember what I talked about in it because it's 2 months ago now, but same kind of content, but different lessons, different experience. I'm sure I shared different stories of my experiences and different aspects of that. And I try to remember, I did not go through and give an example of each of the 7 areas. So this 40-day challenge is different in that. So contribution, what am I contributing? What do I want to contribute? And we'll talk more about impact and legacy and things over the course of this as we go through the SOAP model. Since we've been through the SOAP model several times before, I don't feel like we need to go over and over and beat a dead horse on what to do for action items in each of these steps. Our action item today is, of course, with respect to your area of your life that you're working on, what is your story right now and what do you want it to be? Where are you right now? What's your situation? What do you want it to be? What is mine in contribution? What is yours in financial or physical or spiritual, whatever area you're working on? Share in the comments below. Maybe just share on a scale of 1 to 10 where you want to be, and then put the letter of the area that you're working on and just share. Everybody's going to say 10. Let's not do that. We shared our area yesterday, but I was saying we could share where we are and where we want to be. But boy, I'm changing my mind. I'd say just comment done in the comments below when you've done this, when you've looked at where you are and where you want to be. Just put like P for physical and then done, or M for mental, done, E for emotional, done, S for spiritual, done, F for financial, done, R for relationship, done, or C for contribution, done. So when I'm done with mine today, I will try to remember. I will do it because I've been really bad about commenting throughout this challenge. I've done my homework every day. I've done my action item every day, but I have been really bad with the holiday and all kinds of stuff and family, home, and things about posting my homework, posting my response. And so, and that's because this is set up as a personal challenge. And I just brought everybody along with me this time through the Get Up and Go challenge. It's getting to the end too, so I need to decide what's next. What am I going to do next? I think we'll do a Get Up and Go challenge again. I think next week I might have a whole week just for questions and answers. I was in a challenge last 2 weeks ago, last week and the week before, where the woman taught some stuff. Now, of course, she did the take it away, but she taught some stuff, and then the whole next week, she actually gave feedback on what she taught. She let people share their homework, and she walked them through and gave them feedback on that, which I thought was really powerful. Whenever we demonstrate what we do for people, I think it's really powerful. So I would like to, if people are interested, next week, just do Q&A every day and just let people ask questions. And I'll just do answers all day long, questions and answers for the whole week. That would be fun, I think. And it's fun and easy to do. And it gets me learning and growing and explaining things in ways that make more sense to you. So today, just put done in the comments below. Again, remember when you're thinking about your story, your situation, answer the questions that we do as a good reporter: who, what, where, when, why, and how. You don't have to know the how at all right now, but who, what, where, when, why. Who, what, where, when, why of your current situation, and then maybe the who, what, where, when, why of what you want your situation to be. Because the stronger your why, we talk about why a lot, you got to have some motivation. You got to have things that keep you going toward what it is that you want, the big vision of what you want when the times get tough. Because that's what this whole challenge is about. Stuff's going to happen. Stuff's going to come up no matter what, no matter where you are, no matter how personally developed or professionally developed or how rich or how poor or how whatever you are. Each and every one of us are going to continue to have things come up in our life until the day we die, right? Every single one of us. I can guarantee with 100% certainty that you will continue to face change and challenges and obstacles and roadblocks and awesome things that happen that challenge you to change, as well as negative things that happen in your life that challenge you to change. So part of what this challenge is all about. Again, share in the comments below, done, and the letter that you're working on this time through, because that gives me an idea of what people are working on and how I might tailor my examples and share that would be more valuable to you. That's it. Go out and have an absolutely amazing day. I will, of course, be with you tomorrow with the O in soap. What does it mean, and how can you apply it to the area of your life that you're working on in the challenge? Have a great day. If I can help you in any way, start asking those questions in the comments below. And if you want, I'll answer them as they're asked, but I will also do a large Q&A, again, probably every day next week. All right, have an amazing day, and I will, of course, be with you tomorrow. Bye. Go write your story, what you want it to be.